What are we filming today?
Well, I think as in the first video, or maybe the first few videos, it didn't quite came across as to our intentions and our reasoning behind why we decided to move here.
So basically, we are filming a Q&A that no one asked because we don't have many viewers yet. So we're just gonna film it anyway,
well,
because our family may not know why we do this. So maybe this is Mum and Dad. This is for you.
Well, maybe it's more of an explanation rather than the Q&A.
True. Let's do an explanation video.
Yes, let's call it that. That's probably good.
Okay.
Right.
So the format is going to be, I'll ask question, Rule will answer, and then I'll answer it myself. And then you're gonna ask the question, I'll answer, and then you answer it yourself. So
Okay.
you can't ask
The same question that you just asked me.
obviously, and you can't also ask question that you are not prepared to answer either.
Okay.
Right, I'm gonna start. Why Sweden?
Well, good question, because I don't really like the cold. And it does get really cold up here. I don't know, I think it's one of those few places in Europe where you can still live remotely.
You can live remotely in Romania.
Well, yeah, let me I think it's a beautiful country. It's very outdoorsy, there's lots and lots of forest.
You're not even outdoorsy, darling.
We go cycling.
I
And
go
walking.
cycling. You moan about going cycling.
Well, yeah, there is that, but we still go cycling
Okay.
eventually.
Okay. So
And we like walking, and there's loads and loads of forest, so I guess we can tick those two boxes. There's
Okay.
plenty of outdoorsy opportunities.
okay, I'm gonna start again. Right. So first question:
Yes.
why Sweden?
I think it's a beautiful country.
Okay.
Lots of nature right on our doorstep. I guess we are a little bit... well, personally me, I'm not a big city boy. I grew up on the countryside, in the countryside in Holland. So
This is not countryside. That's like
well, it is. It's just a smaller countryside because it's a smaller country.
Marseilles.
Yeah, it's a
is
small village. There's only like 600 people.
Okay, so why Sweden? Well, I used to date a Swedish guy. He was my rebound, so
Oh, so you know Sweden from that?
no, I didn't even know Sweden from that. I was just
Drawn to it.
I don't even know. Yeah, so it's like I was in a long-term relationship with the UK, and then now I'm rebounding
Rebounding.
in Sweden.
Rebounding. Ooh,
Okay.
kicking the
Right, your question.
What do you like about the house?
The forest.
The forest.
Yeah,
The forest we're sitting in now.
the forest behind us.
The forest behind us. Yeah, exactly. And the birds. And
What about you?
and the mosquitoes.
Okay, so
Well, that's a project. I like a project.
okay.
It needs a lot of work. Literally everything needs doing.
Including the bloody toilet seat.
Yeah, we've done that now.
I know.
So we can we can sit down comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What do you dislike about the house?
Well, I think if I knew that, because the house is situated next to a main road, and it can be busy at times with traffic.
Yeah.
So there is, you probably hear it in some of the videos. There is the old cars driving past. Which, with hindsight, but then again, if you buy a house on the internet, sight unseen, we never been here before because we couldn't, because of COVID. We couldn't just jump on an aeroplane and come and have a look.
What do I dislike about this place? Well, probably the mosquitoes.
The mosquitoes.
They're like my nemesis.
we'll get one of these if we have a little bit of money spare. If we don't spend it on the house, we'll buy one of these mosquito devices that we saw at the building merchant in the big city.
Okay.
So how did we buy the house?
Did we buy the house? The thing is, this is one question where Rule's answer and my answer is going to be the same. So why don't you answer that question?
Well, I think we start by looking on Hemnet, which is a Swedish website for property.
Like Reed's Rain and.
Well, no, that's an estate agent. It's Rightmove.
Yes, of course. Right. Yeah, sorry, like Rightmove.
Yeah, so it's basically a website where people who want to sell a house, mainly estate agents, post advertisements for houses all over the country.
Yeah.
And we started off there. We did some online viewings. Sorry, I'm being attacked by this bumblebee. But we were constantly outbid by
because he's Dutch,
other people, I guess.
He always beat like super low.
But then again, I didn't want to go in too high because we haven't seen the house, so I didn't want to be, giving too much money for something that wasn't worth it.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what we did. So we went through Hemnet. We viewed a couple of properties. How did you narrow down your criteria? What were your criteria when you did your search?
Well, I always wanted a house with a big shed or a workshop or a big enough outbuilding, for DIY and tinkering activities.
Yeah.
Because I like to do things. And I wanted to have a reasonable plot of land, so we had some space to do things on as well, and have some animals or grow some vegetables or something like that.
Yeah.
But then you really wanted a forest or like direct access to a forest.
Yeah.
Or look at a forest, which a lot of properties that we looked at, they were actually not really that well located in terms of forests.
Well, there were some.
Yeah, but they were going for silly money then in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess houses that link to the forest.
It's just more popular, I guess.
And also they have bigger plots, so they are more expensive. So and then we narrow it down to the amount of money that we were willing to pay, and because we plan to be cash buyer, so we could only spend the amount of money that we have or had, and not having to rely on finance from banks. What else? What the criteria did you have?
Well, I wanted a reasonable size house. I didn't want to go and have too small of a house.
I wanted a small house because the smaller it is, the less stuff you accumulate. Plus, I don't have a lot of things anyway. So.
Well, I guess it's all right, the size of the house. It's not too big.
It's okay. So this house have like a lot of big space, but like for example, it's only three bedrooms.
Well, it's 2 bedroom and 2 kitchen at the minute.
Yeah. So in the future, we're just gonna keep it to 3 bedrooms because there's only the 2 of us, and it's so remote that I highly doubt that we're gonna have a lot of guests coming over. And plus, we're converting the barn into a guest house, so it's very unlikely that it's very unlikely, but my point is, if we do have guests, they probably prefer to stay in a guest house where they can have their own privacy.
So yeah, that's another one of the many projects, I guess, converting the shed into a holiday/guest house. That'll be a fun project on its own. So we're living fully mortgage free, so we don't owe anybody any money.
Yeah.
So we don't have any debt as such. We don't have any debt. Debt.
Yeah, but we still work. Well, I still work. He doesn't.
I work on the house for now,
Yeah, so we still
which is a full-time job. Well, I guess this is another good thing about Sweden is that they have a very good coverage in terms of internet.
yes.
So Sweden is, I can't remember now, was it the number 3 within Europe in terms of, or was it the number 3 worldwide
I don't know where you get the
in
stats from.
terms of the internet connectivity rate and speed?
Speed, I must agree that I have been working here using 4G, and the so my colleague at work has been saying that it's so much better than the internet connection that we used to have back in Wimslow. And Wimslow is in the city south of Manchester. Yeah, and our internet connection is really bad because the fiber optic. No, actually, did we have fiber optic? No, we just have a super fast internet, and we were working on 26 megabyte per second. That's just embarrassing for the UK. And then in here, on 4G, I was working on 40 to 55 megabyte per second.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing.
We can upload as quick as we can download.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. So internet provider, internet service has been fantastic in Sweden.
For a remote. So we are connected to the grid in terms of water supply
Electricity.
and electricity.
Okay, next question. Okay, for anyone who wants to do similar thing, what would your advice? What would your advice be?
If you do want to consider coming here, moving here, buying a house, the houses in Sweden are compared to the rest of Europe very cheap.
Yes.
You can pick up really nice houses and a very big plot of land for an absolute bargain price. But yeah, it's probably best if you come here and have a look at the house, because I don't know if it's deliberate or not, but they can be quite vague, even estate agents, when you ask for a floor plan and dimensions and
I think that's quite given that, like I said earlier on, that normal people, they would definitely look at the house first. Nobody just buy it off and not look at it.
Oh,
That
okay.
makes sense.
Maybe I'm just the one that's
Yeah,
weird.
exactly.
But, well, I think the good thing that because obviously we still don't master Swedish very well. So obviously there is the language barrier, but the Swedes speak very good English. At least most of them do.
So I think one good thing is that Rule always ask, oh sorry, do you speak English? My Swedish is not very good. Whereas don't even ask if anyone speaks English, because I had to learn this language and I would assume that everyone else learned. But that was just like a really terrible assumption.
Going anywhere means you're spending, well, an hour driving.
Yeah.
I mean, 20 minutes to the nearest bigger village
Yeah. Yeah. So
by car. So yeah, it's obviously it's doable, but yeah,
but you don't fancy doing it often. So for example, I ration our sliced bread.
well, I guess we come from a location in the UK where everything was 5 minutes or less away. So you run out of something and you just pop down to the shops and you'd be back within 5 minutes. Sort of thing. So it was not a big issue, but
now requires a lot of planning.
I guess in Sweden, especially when obviously now it's the middle of summer and it's easy and gorgeous and whatnot, but in the winter when there is a thick layer of snow covering everything, then obviously having to drive for long distances becomes a little bit more challenging.
Yes. Run through a process of how things like that, so that it becomes a conversational.
Go away! Leave me alone!
Okay.
Bumblebee, sorry.